Chosen one, listen deeply. This is not a random moment, not a video that appeared by mere coincidence. This is a divinely appointed hour, etched by the hand of God into the sacred timeline of your life. Every twist in the road, every burden you've carried, every silent tear you've cried, has led you here to this precise moment where heaven speaks directly to your soul. This is not a message for your ears alone. It is meant for your spirit to receive, for it is the Lord your Creator, who now desires that you know you are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are not invisible in the eyes of the Almighty. You are the one He has watched, in secret, the one He has chosen, the one He has loved, with a love that cannot be shaken. This moment is holy, not tomorrow, not yesterday, now. God has ordained this hour so that you might receive a word from eternity, a message not simply to comfort but to awaken, to heal, to revive what sorrow tried to bury. You have walked through long nights. You have carried unsaid words, unanswered questions, and aching regrets. But now the Lord asks you to be still, to listen. Truly listen, for what follows is not mere encouragement. It is a sacred call, a heartbeat from heaven itself sent directly to you, the chosen one. Chosen one, listen with the ears of your soul, for what is about to reach you cannot be captured by ordinary speech. This is not imagination. This is not longing masquerading as hope. This is truth, divine, unveiled, and unshakable. There is one who once walked this earth beside you, one whose laughter still echoes in your memory, one whose presence shaped your days, whose absence carved a silent wound into your chest. You have mourned them in darkness. You have searched for fragments of their voice in your dreams. You have wondered if they could still see you, if they remembered you, if they still cared. And now heaven answers. They are not lost. They are not gone. They are not hidden in some unreachable realm. They are alive eternally, gloriously, fully alive, in the presence of the Almighty. The body may have returned to dust, but the soul, oh, the soul is untouched by death. And today, through the sovereign will of God, they are speaking again, and they are speaking to you. No longer are they bound by the silence of the grave. No longer do they watch from afar. The veil has lifted, and their voice, clearer than memory, stronger than grief, reaches into this very moment, saying, I am here. I never left. You were never alone. You may not hear them with your natural ears, but your spirit has felt them all along. In the stillness, in the warmth that wraps around you unexpectedly, in the tears that fall for no reason at all, in the song that plays when you needed comfort most, in the sun that breaks through the clouds just as you whisper their name. They have been there, every moment, every breath, every struggle. They have stood beside you unseen, but never absent. They want you to know that their love has not diminished. It has only grown. Freed from suffering, freed from all that weighed them down, they now love you with clarity, with purity, with an eternal affection that is unshaken by time or space. Their soul sings with joy every time you rise again, every time you smile through your sorrow, every time you choose to continue, because they see it all. They have seen your nights of weeping. They have watched your silent battles. They have stood in reverent awe as you chose to keep going, even when you didn't know how. They know the guilt you've carried, the what-ifs, the questions that haunt you, the words you didn't get to say, the embrace you wish you could have given one more time. And with the authority that only heaven grants, they say to you now, let it go. You did enough. More than enough. You loved me the best you knew how. I saw it. I felt it. And it was beautiful. They carry no blame, no resentment, no regrets. Only gratitude. Only peace. Only love. Poured out from beyond the veil into your hands right now. And they ask one thing of you: live, not in the shadows, not under the weight of grief, not shackled by what could have been, but live with open hands, with hope renewed, with joy reborn, because your time is not over, because God is not finished, because they are watching you, not with sorrow but with sacred pride. They have been permitted to speak now, because the Lord has judged you ready to hear what was once too heavy, ready to receive what sorrow had once hidden. And the message is clear: I love you. I have always loved you. And nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever separate us. This is not goodbye. It never was. It never will be. You and they are bound by a love stronger than death, anchored by the hands of God Himself. Chosen one, there is something you must know, something sacred, something eternal. Love does not die. Not true love. Not the kind of love that endured pain in silence, that withstood the heaviness of life's disappointments, that held your hand through trials when words were few and hearts spoke louder than mouths. That kind of love cannot be buried. It cannot be ended by a heartbeat ceasing or a final breath drawn. What was real in spirit lives on in spirit, and what was born in the soul cannot be taken by death. This love, the love you shared, is not a memory fading with time. It is a living current, moving between realms, carried by the will of God Himself. You have looked up at the ceiling in the darkness, whispering to the one who is no longer there. You have asked the questions that have no answers. Do they still think of me? Do they know how much I still carry them? Can they see what I've become? And now, through the silence, God delivers the answer. Yes. Yes, they see. Yes, they know. Yes, they carry you too. The love that once passed between you in glances, in gestures, in quiet moments, now pours forth in full measure, free of fear, free of flesh, alive with holy clarity. And in that place beyond the veil, they do not remember the pain. They remember the love. They remember you. And that memory is not just recollection. It is communion, a bond sustained by grace, not memory alone. C.S. Lewis in The Four Loves captures the enduring nature of such bonds. In each of my friends there is something that only some other friend can fully bring out. By myself, I am not large enough to call the whole man into activity. I want other lights than my own to show all his facets. Chosen one. The love you shared with the one now beyond the veil was a unique light revealing facets of your soul that remain eternal. Lewis suggests that this love, though physically absent, continues to illuminate your spirit, sustaining a communion that death cannot sever, affirming the living current you feel. You may not hear their voice as you once did, but you have felt their presence, in the still moments when your chest tightens without warning, in the unexpected peace that washes over you when you thought you were breaking, in the sunlight that breaks through clouds on the day you needed it most. These are not coincidences. These are touchpoints, reminders that their love did not disappear. It transformed, it deepened, and it now surrounds you, closer than breath, softer than silence, more powerful than words. They do not want your sorrow to become a prison. They do not want your love for them to be shackled in grief. What honors them most is not your weeping, but your rising. Not your regret, but your resilience. They delight in your laughter. They rejoice in your healing. They are proud of your courage. Their soul sings not in mourning, but in hope, for they know what you cannot yet see, that your story is not over. That beauty still waits for you. That joy is not gone, only waiting to be found again. And so they speak this truth into your life now with holy urgency. You were my joy. You were my strength. You were my blessing. And nothing, not time, not distance, not death itself can take that from us. We are not finished. This is not the end. We are simply walking two parts of the same road, separated only by a veil that one day will lift. Until that day, walk forward, knowing I am still with you, not behind you, not beneath you, but beside you in spirit, through God's everlasting design. So let go of the lie that you are alone. Let go of the belief that love ends. What was real is still real. What was holy is still holy. And what was once held in your arms is now held in the arms of God, but still reaching, still watching, still loving you. Always. Chosen one. There is a heaviness you have carried silently. It may not always be visible to others, but it has lived beneath your skin like a shadow. It has whispered questions in the night. Did I do enough? Did I say the right things? Could I have been more present? Did I fail them when it mattered most? These thoughts have curled themselves around your spirit, squeezing your heart with sorrow, regret, and doubt. But today, by the authority of heaven, you are being called to let it go. That burden was never yours to carry. You did what you could. You loved with the strength you had. You showed up when it was hard. You held on when others let go. You gave what you had to give even when your soul was breaking. And that love, it was seen. It was felt. It was enough. You were not meant to be perfect. You were never expected to fix what only God could heal. And now the one you loved so deeply, the one who now dwells in light, sends this message with divine clarity. You did your best. I know it. I remember it. I carry it with me, not your mistakes, not your fear, but your love. The Lord saw the silent sacrifices you made, the nights you didn't sleep, the prayers you whispered through trembling lips, the moments you tried to be strong for someone else when you were unraveling inside. None of that was wasted. None of it went unnoticed, and none of it should be buried under guilt. That guilt is not from God. That guilt is not truth. It is a chain forged by sorrow and lies, and now it must be broken. C.S. Lewis, in A Grief Observed, reflects on the torment of such guilt. I thought I could describe a state, make a map of sorrow. Sorrow, however, turns out to be not a state, but a process. Chosen one, your questions of, did I do enough, are part of the process of sorrow, not a verdict on your love. Lewis's insight frees you to see guilt as a transient stage, not a permanent truth, urging you to release this burden and trust that your love was enough, as affirmed by the one who now sees clearly in God's light. Release it. Not because what happened doesn't matter, but because the weight of it was never yours to bear. Release it not in forgetfulness, but in faith. Trust that what was left unsaid has already been healed by grace. Trust that what was imperfect has been covered by mercy. You are not being asked to forget. You are being invited to forgive yourself. There is a new chapter waiting for you, one that cannot begin until you lay this burden down. You were never meant to live the rest of your life in the shadow of regret. That is not the legacy they left you. That is not what they want for you. They want your freedom. They want your joy. They want your soul unshackled. When you laugh again, they rejoice. When you breathe deeply without sorrow, their spirit breathes with you. That is the truth. That is love, eternal. So take this moment and surrender the weight. Lay it before God. Trust Him to carry what you no longer can. And know this, forgiveness is not something you earn. It is something God gives, and today He gives it freely. Receive it. Let it soften your heart. Let it wash over you like rain on dry ground. Let it prepare the way for peace to return. You are not being asked to forget the one you loved. You are being asked to live in the light of what remains, the bond that no death can sever, the grace that no failure can erase, and the purpose that still waits for you to rise. Chosen one, now that the weight has been laid down, Heaven calls you not to remain where you are, but to rise. Not just to move forward, but to truly live again. Not the kind of living that merely survives day to day, not the kind that wears a smile while carrying silent despair, but the kind of living that breathes from the soul, that rejoices from within, that dares to love, to hope, and to dream again. You have suffered long. You have endured seasons of silence, of sorrow, of aching emptiness. But suffering is not your identity, and sorrow is not your inheritance. You were not created to remain in the ruins of yesterday. You were created to stand, to rebuild, to walk in the sunlight of redemption. The time has come. This moment is sacred. This is your invitation, not from man, not from memory, but from the mouth of God Himself. Live again. You may ask, how do I begin? Begin by breathing with intention. Begin by opening your heart to the possibility that life still holds beauty for you. Begin by choosing each day to believe that you are not abandoned, that your best days are not behind you, and that the pain you endured is not the end of your story. You are still here, And because you are still here, God is not finished with you. His hand is still on your life. His breath is still within you. His purpose still surrounds you. You were never meant to carry only memories. You were meant to carry light. The one you loved does not want you locked in grief, imprisoned by echoes of what once was. They want you to wake up again with wonder, to open your eyes each morning not with dread but with expectation, to feel the warmth of the sun and know this day is holy. This day is a gift. This day I am still here for a reason. Living again will not mean forgetting. It will mean remembering differently. Not as someone left behind, but as someone who is still loved. Not as someone marked by tragedy, but as someone chosen for testimony. God is writing something new into your life. Something bold. Something sacred. Something that will make sense, not in fragments but in the fullness of time. You do not need to know how it will unfold. You only need to say yes. Yes to healing. Yes to joy. Yes to hope. Yes to love again. Your soul has been in winter, but spring is arriving, and when God speaks life, even the coldest places bloom. The parts of your heart that have been frozen in grief are beginning to thaw. The places that once felt numb are stirring again. This is not weakness. This is resurrection. This is what heaven has been preparing in you all along. So rise, chosen one, not in your own strength, but in the strength of the one who calls you beloved. Rise not because you are unscarred, but because you are held. Rise, because this world still needs what only you carry. Let your life become the answer to every prayer they once prayed for you. Let your light become the proof that love never truly dies. It only changes form and continues on in those brave enough to carry it forward. Chosen one, what you may not realize is this healing has already started. Not in loud, dramatic ways, not with thunder or fire, but in the quiet moments, the kind that the world overlooks. It began when you opened your heart to listen. It began when the tears returned, not as grief alone, but as cleansing. It began when something deep within you whispered, "Maybe I don't have to stay broken forever." And in that moment, heaven moved. God's healing rarely arrives all at once. It comes like a dawn, gentle and gradual. It seeps into the places that grief hardened. It flows into the corners of your soul that have gone untouched for too long. You may not have seen the change, but it is happening. Where sorrow once ruled, peace is now growing. Where heaviness lived, a new light is breaking through. You are not the same as you were before, and that is not weakness. That is the evidence of God's mercy restoring you from the inside out. There are parts of you that believed you would never feel whole again, parts that accepted numbness as normal, but the Lord is not content to leave you half alive. He is not satisfied with mere survival. He is calling you into wholeness, into beauty, into fullness. His Spirit is rewriting the story of your pain, not by erasing it, but by transforming it into testimony. The tears you cried in silence have been gathered. The cracks in your heart have become vessels through which grace now pours, and the wounds that once seemed fatal are being sealed by a love that never fails. You may still have days when the ache returns. That is human. That is honest. But even in those moments, healing continues. Because healing is not forgetting it, is remembering with peace. It is learning to breathe again without guilt. It is finding joy not in place of pain, but alongside it. And God is doing this in you moment by moment, layer by layer, breath by breath. He is not rushing you. He is not disappointed in how long it has taken. He knows the depth of your loss. He knows how precious that love was, and He knows exactly what your heart needs to recover, not in pieces, but in promise. The kind of promise that says, what was lost is not gone. What was broken will be restored. And what you thought you couldn't live through has already begun to make you stronger than you've ever been. So do not look for healing as a moment. See it as a journey already unfolding beneath your feet. Feel it now like warmth returning to your limbs after a long winter. Feel it in your breath, in your quiet moments, in the way your soul is softening, not from weakness, but from God's gentle touch. He is near, closer than your fear, closer than your thoughts, closer than your pain. He is holding you even now. You do not have to strive to be healed. You only have to remain in His presence. The rest is His work, and it has already begun. Chosen one, though, your eyes have grown accustomed to loss, and your heart has long walked in the shadow of yesterday. There is more ahead, more than sorrow, more than memory, more than the ache of what once was. There is a future, and not just any future, but one prepared by the hand of God Himself. A future not shaped by randomness or chance, but one written long before your first breath, etched into the eternal scrolls of heaven with your name upon it. This future is not behind you. It is before you. It is not lost in the past. It is unfolding now. Even when you cannot see it, even when you do not feel ready, even when the weight of your pain has made it hard to lift your head, the plans of the Lord remain. They have not shifted. They have not changed. They have only waited for your healing to begin, for your heart to soften, for your spirit to open once again to hope. C.S. Lewis, in Letters to Malcolm, chiefly on prayer, speaks to the divine promise of such a future. We are not necessarily doubting that God will do the best for us. We are wondering how painful the best will turn out to be. Chosen one, your hesitation to embrace the future may stem from fear of more pain, as Lewis articulates. Yet this future God has prepared is not a repetition of past sorrows, but a restoration of joy, a testament to His best for you unfolding through the healing already begun in your soul. You were never meant to live chained to yesterday's pain. You were meant to walk forward into tomorrow's promise. The road ahead is not a repetition of what you've endured. It is a new path filled with grace, lined with mercy, anointed with joy you have not yet tasted. There will be laughter again, true, deep laughter. There will be mornings that do not begin in sorrow. There will be relationships touched by light moments that feel sacred in their simplicity, and seasons where the weight you carried becomes your strength, not your burden. You may ask, how can beauty still rise from all that has been lost? The answer is this: because God is the one who restores. He is the God who brings life from ashes, who opens rivers in deserts, who speaks creation where there was once void. Your story is not the story of what was taken. It is the story of what will be redeemed, of what will be multiplied, of what will be made new. You are not standing at an ending. You are standing at a threshold, and heaven is waiting for your next step. Not to pressure you, but to walk with you. Every door that closed was not punishment, it was protection. Every delay was not rejection, it was preparation. And every heartbreak you survived has enlarged your soul to carry the joy that is coming. God has not wasted one moment of your pain. He is weaving it, threading it, turning it into a glory that will one day cause you to look back and say, "Now I see, now I understand. He was faithful all along." So do not fear what lies ahead. Do not shrink back from the unknown. You walk with the favor of the Lord. His Spirit goes before you. His hand rests upon you, and every step you take forward is a step into divine design. The future is not something to dread. It is something to receive. It is sacred. It is full, and it belongs to you not because you have earned it, but because you are chosen. This is your inheritance, not ashes, but beauty. Not despair, but purpose. Not silence, but song. So, lift your eyes, open your hands, and walk boldly into what has already been prepared. The page is turning, the chapter is beginning, and God is the author still writing you into a story of redemption. Chosen one, it is time now to understand a deeper truth, one that grief often tries to bury, but heaven insists. You remember, this is not the end. What felt like a final goodbye was never meant to be permanent. What appeared to be separation was only the beginning of a divine transformation. There has been a farewell, yes, but not the kind that closes the book, only the kind that turns the page. The one you loved so dearly has not disappeared. They have simply crossed into a realm that your eyes cannot yet see, but their love, alive, holy, and unmarred by death, remains tethered to you by something stronger than time. They are not gone, they are glorified. Not lost, but lifted. Not vanished, but waiting. And from where they now dwell, they do not look back in sorrow, but in peace, in joy, in praise. You may still ache, you may still cry in the middle of the night, but understand this. They are not asking you to stay in mourning. They are not calling you to cling to what was. They are blessing you with permission to live richly, to love deeply, to laugh freely. That is how you honor them. That is how you carry them forward, not in chains of sorrow, but in songs of remembrance, not in silence, but in courage, not in fear, but in faith. They are near closer than you imagine, not through memory alone, but through spirit. They dwell in every echo of love that still surrounds your life. They move through the moments when you feel inexplicably comforted. They are with you when the wind brushes your cheek and the sky breaks open with light. Their absence may feel permanent, but their presence is eternal, and it is sanctified, now resting in the heart of God, yet reaching still for yours. So do not fear the passage of time. Do not dread the distance between now and reunion. The Lord is master of both, and in his perfect timing there will come a day when you see them again, not as a memory but as reality, not through tears but through glory. And on that day, every pain will make sense. Every loss will be redeemed. Every longing will be met. But until then, chosen one, your life is not on pause. Your joy is not forbidden. You are still breathing, and that breath is holy. Use it. Let it carry laughter. Let it build love. Let it shout hope into every dark place, because that is what they would want, and that is what God has called you to do. So walk with the knowledge that what you had was real, what you carry is sacred, and what lies ahead is divine. This farewell was never a conclusion. It was a commissioning, and you are being sent forward, not in pieces, but in promise, not in despair, but in purpose, and never ever alone. The story is not over. You are still becoming. The best is not behind you. The reunion is not a myth, it is a certainty. And until that glorious day arrives, heaven watches, love surrounds, and God walks every step beside you. Chosen one, now that the words have been spoken, now that the veil has been lifted, now that your spirit has been stirred and your soul has remembered what it always knew, you must rise, not in haste, not in fear, but in quiet power, in sacred strength, in full awareness of who walks beside you and what dwells within you. You have been seen. You have been heard. You have been loved, not just by those who walked with you in this life, but by the one who formed you in the secret places before time began. His eye has never left you. His hand has never withdrawn. Even when sorrow overtook your sight, even when you could not feel his nearness, he was there carrying you through storms you thought would drown you, holding your soul in silence, anchoring your heart in the depths. Now he speaks again, not with thunder but with peace, not with pressure but with promise. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Every tear you've cried has been collected. Every sigh that escaped unnoticed has been recorded. Every whisper for help, even the ones you barely had strength to breathe, reached his throne. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been ignored. And now heaven answers, not just with comfort but with calling. You are chosen. You are set apart. You have been preserved for such a time as this, not merely to endure but to embody his light. You carry something holy, something no loss can steal his spirit within you, his purpose upon you, his love forever covering you. This is your mantle. This is your anointing. And this is your moment to step forward, not as one broken beyond repair, but as one rebuilt by mercy. Rise now, not to prove anything to the world, but to fulfill what heaven has written over your life. Rise in quiet confidence. Rise in deep joy. Rise in trust, Even if your steps are small at first, you are being led, you are being held, you are being commissioned into the next chapter, and every page has already been prepared. Let this message be your anchor. Return to it when the winds rise again. Let it remind you, your pain has been heard, your love still lives, and your future is guarded by God's own hand. There is no shame in the tears that fall, but there is strength in the choice to continue. And every time you do, heaven rejoices. So breathe deeply, beloved. Stand gently, walk freely, and know beyond every shadow, above every storm, that you are not alone. You are surrounded. You are sustained. You are sent. The story is not over, and the one who holds the ending walks with you in every step of the becoming. Amen.